to the lending business. I didn't know what a sales contract was. And sure enough, with me getting in here, I'm going to say about anywhere from a half hour to an hour a day. For 2 weeks, I was fully confident in using this system. So, and that's coming from a guy with no real estate background whatsoever. So I promise you, if it looks intimidating, it's really not. Hopefully I can break some of this down for you here today, and get you guys using this platform here, because it's a powerful tool that works. So to start out, I wanted to start on this page. Now this is Steve's team page here, okay? This is integrated with KVCore, also known as his IDX page. What is IDX? That's just a fancy term for his website. This is his website. We're going to search houses. Consider like a Zillow, a Redfin, Trulia, whatever. This is Steve's website, okay? And it is integrated with KVCore. Ultimately, what we do here is we try to get individuals to come to this page to browse for houses. And by browsing for houses on here, we're collecting data in the background, the same way that Zillow collects data on its leads, the same way that Redfin will collect data, et cetera, et cetera. So ultimately what we do here, and maybe this would be for another call to talk about how we run the advertisements, but Steve has advertisements running in the back, okay, that will bring the lead to this page, okay? So they get to this page, or they may click on a link that will take them to one of Steve's listings. And let's just, take this one here, for example, in Arlington Heights. Okay, so it will take them to this page here once when they click on the advertisement, and they're going to say, oh, wow, what a nice house. And they're going to naturally want to go through the pictures. And as they go through the pictures here, okay, by the time they get to the fourth one, a registration is going to prompt. 95% of them are going to choose to continue with Facebook. And once when they do, they have all that information there and available. As far as email, name, cell phone, it's all there. So when they click on that, then they are free to view the rest of the listing, as well as other listings on Steve's page. It is then immediately taken over to KVCore. And then from there on out, they are taken on a campaign. Okay, and this campaign is very subtle. It consists of emails and text messages that will go to the lead. I see you're looking online at our website. Do you have any questions that I can answer? Are you an investor, or are you looking for yourself? It's going to ask open-ended questions to try and solicit a response, okay? So, and that's how KVCore will work from the lead generation standpoint, okay? So we utilize platforms such as Facebook. I know there's other options out there with like Google Analytics that where we capture leads and bring them into KVCore. Once when we utilize the lead generation aspect of KVCore, we can then utilize the CRM aspect for these new leads. So when you click into here, the Smart CRM, it will load up everyone that has generated either through lead generation or any past clients Steve may have had. We see he has an active lead right here that he's currently working with. It'll give you the source. This one came from organic websites, so that means like a Facebook or something like that, okay? And we can then, click into a lead. And as we can see here, we have the history when this lead was first registered on June 12th up until now. As you can see, they were automatically taken on this campaign. Behind the scenes, a text message that looks like it's coming from Steve was sent out. I was about to set up some alerts that will notify you when a new property hits the market in specific areas and price ranges you're interested in. And right away, the lead texted back, yeah, I'm looking in Chicago, Beverly, Ashburn, Whitewood area. We have a lead that we can work with here. And this was someone that was generated through an advertisement. So they're taken on to these campaigns. And then we set them up on search alerts, okay? What search alerts will look like here, let me get back to the dashboard. For example, they click on a home, and the example we gave earlier was Steve's listing here at 2024 East Park Street in Arlington Heights. KVCore will automatically send them very similar properties, and it looks like it's coming from Steve, but in the background, Steve isn't sending these emails out. It's the smart platform, and the lead thinks that, oh, hey, this realtor, they're giving me all their attention and they're sending me all this great information. Wow, this is someone that's very diligent and follows up, right? And Steve's out chasing more clients in reality, right? So, so they click on this house here, 362 South Madison and Oswego. And as you can see, here's another one in Aurora, very similar properties that KVCore is automatically sending them behind the scenes. And they're viewing these properties. Look, this person has viewed 34 property views. This is a lead that is warming up. So and I see this is an active client here that Steve is working with, and I'm sure Steve has already done his diligence in talking to them, but let's just say if this was someone that viewed 34 properties at once, then Steve would naturally reach out and say, hey, see, you're looking at some properties here. Would you like to go view any of them? And 99 out of 100 times they're gonna say, yeah, I'd like to go check out these properties. Great. And now we are working with a client. As you start getting these leads dropping into KVCore, one secret that I like to share that's not so much a secret, but a lot of people didn't realize they had the option. If you go over into your hot leads tab over here, it will give you the most recent and up-to-date activity. We can see text messages going on from Maryland. Yesenia Cruz was looking at a property. She saw it on her phone. We saw the Vivian James that texted Steve. She's looking at Chicago and Beverly, okay? So this is where everything happens. And we go through the hot leads list. We already saw Maryland. We go through the hot leads list and we can look at, see which leads that we captured needs our attention, who needs to be reached out to, etc. One thing I would like to stress, if any of you have experience with Zillow and using their leads, this is not like that at all, okay? And I'll try and provide the best explanation that I can on the difference between these leads and a Zillow lead. Zillow will typically capture a lead when they're in a warmer stage, okay? Zillow pays billions and billions of dollars in order to get their name first on a listing as far as like a Google search will go, okay? So naturally the lead will click on there when they're more warmed up. And when Zillow captures them, they then turn around and sell it to a realtor at a much warmer stage. These leads that are being captured, most of the time don't even realize that they've been captured. They're just nonchalantly scrolling through on their newsfeed on Facebook. They see a listing that we're advertising. They click on it, they register without realizing it. And before you know, we caught them. So this isn't someone that's ready to buy right away. Maybe, one out of the pot you'll get here and there. But most of these leads, there's about a 6 to 12 month incubation. And that's because we're capturing them much early on. We're sending them property information much early on to where they don't need to go to a Zillow because Steve is already sending them these properties via email and via text, and has been following up with them from day one. So in a nutshell, I would say, and I don't know how much time I have here, but that is the down and dirty version of KVCore and what it can do.
Tom, thank you very much. Are you able to show us in 10 minutes or less if I had a listing or how I would, if I didn't have any listings, or if I had a listing or I was doing an open house, what the process is or the starting process to get it to where I can generate some lead activity?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great question. So I'll go ahead and start off with if you do not have any listings. If you don't have any listings, there's a tool that we can use called Squeeze Pages. And essentially what a squeeze page is, it's multiple listings loaded on to one page defined by the criteria that you decide to set. So I'll show you an example here. So we're going to head over to our lead engine. And then you see IDX squeeze page. And if you remember what I said earlier, IDX is just a fancy term for a website. So your website squeeze page, okay? So we're going to click on the website we want to use. We'll use Steve's team account, and we're going to go ahead and start building. And let's just say that as we're building this account here, we really want to target, if you guys are from the Chicago area, a suburb close to me is Plainfield. So let's just say we wanted to target the Plainfield area. We're going to go ahead and type that in. So I'll type in Plainfield, and there it is. The city of Plainfield, and then we'll hit the outskirts of Plainfield as well. Okay, so we're defining our search criteria here. Okay, you know, you can set the price range you want. You can set how many bedrooms you want to put on this page, but just for the sake of saving time, let's just say we're doing homes in Plainfield, and that's it. Okay, so I set my criteria to Plainfield. Property views before registration. You can choose how many homes they can look at before that registration. This right here, prompts. Some feel like 2 properties is enough. Others feel like, hey, I want them to look at 5. I personally wouldn't do this unless if you've already captured them as a lead. Otherwise, you're giving away the information for free. There's got to be some sort of registration. So then we generate our link. And there you go. So now we have a link, and just to show you what it looks like here, this is the link that we would build in our advertisement. I can go ahead and put that in. So when they click on it, and again, I don't have any listings, but look what comes up. All these houses in Plainfield that I set, that you are running on your advertisement. And then the #1 question I usually get after I show someone this is, but those aren't my listings. Is that legal? Can I do that? The answer is yes, you can, because of this logo of broker reciprocity right here. The MLS allows you to do that. And like Steve's listing, they're going to go through here. They're going to look at these properties and say, wow, this is great information. I want more info on this house. Because I was already on Steve's website, it's going to prompt me immediately because I already looked at houses. The demonstration I showed you, but if I was a new lead and I clicked on this, it would let me view 3 properties until this registration came up. And then they would more than likely continue with Facebook. And then we captured the information there. If they choose not to continue with Facebook, we still get great information from them. As I type in my email address, it then prompts for my cell phone number, which they'll say will be used as a password. But for us, we get their email, we got their cell phone number. But most of the time, they're going to continue with Facebook. If you have, and second part to Steve's question, if you have an open house that you're advertising that you want to get out there for the weekend, same thing, you would go to your website squeeze page, but instead of doing multi-property, you would click on single property. And I'll just use Steve's listing here. Put in the listing ID. Oh, kick me out here. There's the link for it. And as long as the listing agent is okay with it, which 99 out of 100 times they will be, you can then utilize and target this and advertise this as your open house. So many different ways that you can run advertisements and show off listings, even if they're not your listings.
Okay, Tom, I got a quick question for you.
Yes.
So if I was to do that with one of my listings and I just wanted to do a squeeze page to advertise the listing, is there a way to put something on there like, buy this home with 3.5% down or something like that, some kind of tagline to get them to click on the house?
Absolutely. So you can absolutely add taglines that catch their attention. Where I'm more familiar with is Facebook. That's where I do a lot of my the advertisements that we run for Steve here. So just as an example here, and I'll.
Okay, and my next question would be, if we do a squeeze page, does it have to, for an open house, we have to go through Facebook then, correct? And like pay $20 or something to have it boosted, or can we do it?
So if you want to get it outside of your Facebook group, so if you were to post on your Facebook page, it will show off to people that like your page at no expense to you. If you wanted to reach more people that maybe probably never heard of you, and you can reach up to sometimes 50,000, 100,000, 300,000 different people, then yes, you would need to pay advertisement through Facebook, which, Steve, as you know, for the amount of people you can reach is very inexpensive.
Yes. Okay. All right. Good stuff.
Hey, Tom, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Hey, this is Jim Zigmont. Thanks. So when you say you're generating a link, okay, this is a common thread through KVCore for my experience. Do you, when you're generating that link, where is that link posted? Do you, from that page, do you post it to Facebook?
Yes. So I'll show you here real quick. If we go on Steve's page here.
Nice car.
But the same way that he would create a post on his page, you can then paste that link there.
Yeah.
Facebook will then fetch the preview.
Right.
Okay. And then you can have the tagline, add your emojis, open house. And then if you wanted to,
So when it posts to Facebook, does it see? Well, then I make a decision. It can just go to my contacts, which I don't. I mean, or I can say I can send it to anybody, right?
when you post it from your business page, like we're doing here,
Yeah.
it will only show to people that like your page. And then if you decide to share it or anyone else decides to share it, it will only show to who decides who will share it.
No, I mean when I post it, I don't have 1,000 people on Facebook that follow me, but
Most people don't.
okay.
So and because of that, and they're saying now, a lot of people would target likes. Okay, how can I get more people to like my page? And that was a big approach about like 10 years ago on how to get your brand out there. Now that Facebook has this advertising tool, it's not so much about the likes; it's more so about the impressions and utilizing that to get your listing to reach 100,000, 300,000 people. We would post it on like this as we're doing now, but then we can boost the post either through the boost option right after the post, or utilizing Facebook Ads Manager.
Facebook
Ads Manager.
Okay. All right, I got to try that. That's cool. One last thing is, like when I do set up these campaigns, there's canned campaigns coming off of KVCore.
Yeah.
So I have to, and I could do this later. I could try this later, but I don't want, like, when someone clicks on, I send out an alert. Someone clicks on an alert, they get bombarded with emails and texts and all that sort of stuff. If they click on another alert, they get the same freaking texts and emails, you know? So I need to figure out how to get away from these canned approaches, because it doesn't, you know, frankly, I don't think it makes me look all that great. So it just shows, you know, this thing is kind of automatic and it's just churning out information. You know, rather than saying, "Hey, I noticed you looked at my house at you know, 2024 East Park Street. Is there anything I can help you with?" And then a day later, send an email. Then, you know, something like that, and do the same thing for open houses. You don't have to go into that now if you don't want to. But my point is, I got to figure out how to get away from these canned approaches and put my own in.
So in the in the campaign sections of KVCore, you can always copy their campaign that they have on there.
Right.
And as you're copying it over, there is the option to turn off canned responses or to manage your canned responses. You can also adjust the search alerts. I don't know what the default KVCore search alert frequency is, but I always recommend just setting your search alerts to once a week, because the truth of the matter is you don't want to bombard these leads. It does, we take them through a nurturing process that takes time. And if we spam them with listing information, they're going to opt out, which is the hard reality of it.
Yeah, exactly.
So there is a delicate balance. And I always recommend, you know, search alerts once a week. We spread our campaigns out. I think the KVCore campaign, the buyer campaign that's in there is pretty good. But the most important thing is, and this is where I would stress to you, if you're going to use the platform, it is super important to log in every day. The very minimum, at least in the mornings, just to check to see. I always say once in the morning and then once in the evening, but I understand sometimes that's not feasible. So if you can do it once in the morning and you do see someone has responded, you can shut that off, or you can get to them before the canned response goes out. The canned response is essentially there too, because sometimes, and I'm not saying all agents are like this, but I've seen it before. There'll be a lead that will come in and they'll say, "I'm interested, I want to go see this house," and the agent doesn't get back to them.
Yeah.
Because they missed it. And the reality is then, you know, they're not going to wait that longer. So they're going to call another agent. And then before you know it, we lost that lead. True story here. You know, when we first started working with the platform, we were working with an agent, and you know, the houses they were looking at were in Willowbrook, and it took them over 24 hours to respond. The agent, unfortunately, by the time they responded, they got back and said, "Oh, you know, I thought you weren't available. Sorry, I'm already working with another agent." And
Well, they were probably calling Coldwell Banker then. That's the impression I have. So
very well could have been.
they just got email. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, then I need to kind of customize this a little bit more, but I agree with you saying that's an awesome tool. It should be a daily hygiene in the morning to look at KVCore and see what's coming in.
Absolutely. And one thing that really helped me, and again, you know, mind you, I'm a guy that didn't, you know, I still don't really know how the whole real estate thing works. I'm not a realtor by any means, but didn't know anything. And one thing that I use a lot is this bottom right chat bar here. These guys are great. I would ask them so many questions, and they get back to you pretty quickly here. You can ask them any question, even if it gets to the point where it's hard to explain over chat. They'll give you a call. And let you know exactly what you got to do. Like, take full advantage of it. There really is. There is a great way to learn all this here. They constantly post great